Everyone is upset at Ledger, including myself.
This firmware will allow it to have a backdoor
because they can release malicious firmware that exposes your private key with relative ease, and you won't know about it.
The Ledger emergency, and I'm calling this don't use Ledger hardware wallets.
Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to be moving away from Ledger. I don't like this. I don't think it's safe. I don't think it's good.
I assured the person that sent me an email this morning that Ledger would never do this. And here they are doing this.
They say that this is an optional subscription, but here's the question. If I can't check the firmware because it's closed source, how do I know that this functionality is optional?
I guess these headlines are beginning to seriously make me consider switching.
So I'm not going to update the firmware.
We see companies making huge mistakes right now.
Could this be that Ledger is being pressured by regulators, by governments around the world?
Once you have tied this to your identity and signed up for your this service, what's to say that the personal information won't get hacked?
Ledger could have avoided this PR disaster and loss of trust by selling their recovery service in an entirely separate hardware device called Ledger Hot Wallet. Then people would have loved it.
Don't update your Ledger firmware.
Hey everyone, welcome to Crypto Corner. My name is OJ, crypto analyst and investor since 2016, and today we are continuing the debate about the Ledger's latest recovery feature. Is it good? Is it bad? What can you do about it? Let's get started. So Ledger, the most popular crypto hardware wallet, a Paris-based company, unveiled a new feature called Ledger Recover. This update, available right now for Nano X models, has sparked a ton of controversy within the crypto community. By allowing users to share their seed phrase with third-party custodians, users can now restore access to their crypto assets if they forget or misplace or lose their seed phrases. The three custodians were not announced at first, but now we know they are Ledger, CoinCover, and Escrow Tech. CoinCover is apparently a digital asset protection company that provides digital assets insurance services, including theft recovery, disaster recovery, and validated key recovery solutions. They have raised $30 million in funding led by Foundation Capital to protect people and their digital assets from hacks or human error, and they work with over 300 businesses, including crypto companies like BitGo, Fireblocks, and Bitso, as well as hedge funds, family offices, and banks. CoinCover claims to be the first and only service to guarantee digital funds will not be lost or stolen by combining insurance with the latest security. And Escrow Tech is a provider of software and technology escrow services to protect the source code of software and other materials with a third party. Escrow Tech has been in business for over 25 years and has helped thousands of customers worldwide. So, at first glance, this looks secure enough, right? Also, this new feature relies on a mechanism called Shamir secret sharing or Shamir backup, which allows for your seed phrase to be split into several parts, also known as shards. Each of them is useless on its own and only works when paired with another shard, or several. In this case, they will be sharding it in 3 pieces, so 2 out of the 3 will be needed, but a more secure step would have been to split it into 5 shards, for instance, and 3 out of the 5 will be needed, or 7, where 4 or 5 out of the 7 will be needed, making it harder for a hacker to obtain all of these records and combine the shards successfully. And this is just one of the many issues that are causing this massive outcry. The Ledger Recovery Service is going to be a paid opt-in service, so it's not a compulsory feature at this point, but it has raised important questions regarding privacy, control, and the balance between convenience and security. What's the need for seed phrase recovery, you may ask? Well, Ledger recognized the growing need for a seed recovery mechanism within the crypto space. The introduction of Ledger Recover is intended to address the concerns of users who may forget or lose their seed phrases, providing them with an option to regain access to their funds. By utilizing the service, users can approach Ledger, verify their identity, and have their private key restored, their seed phrase, ensuring peace of mind and mitigating the risk of permanent asset loss. Well, here lies the main concern. If there is a way to extract my seed phrase from my wallet, even if this is an optional service, what is to stop them from doing that without my consent? Ledger claims that they will never do this without your consent, but the problem is that it becomes possible with this upgrade. When there is a possibility for something to occur, this is a risk that I wouldn't want to take. Maybe it will never happen, but what if it does? What if a rogue staff member of Ledger decides to abuse this in any way? The Ledger database was hacked in 2020, where more than 200,000 users' emails got leaked, so these are valid concerns. And we have to agree that Ledger, with millions of customers already, must have had a lot of problems from customers, probably on a daily basis, coming to them with requests to recover their seed phrases because they cannot access their crypto. And this is really a major concern of permanent asset loss. This service really compromises the fundamental principle of self-custody, potentially exposing us, the users, to unauthorized access or control over our assets. Other valid concerns from the crypto community include transparency. The closed-source firmware used in Ledger Recover has drawn skepticism from those who value transparency and open-source practices. Without visibility into the inner workings of the firmware, we are unable to assess any potential hidden vulnerabilities or security risks. Also, forceful access. Concerns have been raised regarding the potential for unauthorized parties to forcibly extract the seed phrase from a hardware wallet. This scenario poses a significant security risk, undermining the safeguards put in place to protect user assets. What about security of third-party custodians? The involvement of third-party custodians in storing encrypted backups or user seed phrases introduces a potential vulnerability, right? Users worry about the possibility of hacks or leaks, compromising the security of their confidential information. In response to the criticism, Ledger provides the following justifications for the introduction of the Ledger recovery feature. First, they say that they are trying to cater to a wider audience to appeal to the masses. They're trying to make cryptocurrencies more accessible to those who may be concerned about the risks associated with self-custody. Second, monetization. They don't really acknowledge that, but by offering value-added services such as key recovery, they seek to monetize their customer base and to ensure continued growth. This strategy allows the company to fund ongoing innovation and product development. All right. Also, they say it's a voluntary opt-in. We can choose whether to use this feature or not. The company aims to uphold user autonomy and provide them with the freedom to make informed decisions regarding their funds, they say. Can we still trust Ledger enough to continue using their devices? Is there any government pressure that forced Ledger to activate such feature? What if their firmware has always been open to such seed phrase extraction, but we just didn't know it as the firmware is not open source? And the response to this didn't help at all. Technically speaking, it is and always has been possible to write firmware that facilitates key extraction. You have always trusted Ledger not to deploy such firmware, whether you knew it or not, Ledger said earlier in a now-deleted tweet. This only added fuel to the fire, and now I'm starting to change my mind about Ledger. In my previous response video on this topic, I was much more inclined to take Ledger's side in this debacle, seeing this as a service that will provide extra security to many users. I still think that Ledger is acting in good faith and will continue to do so, as their CTO said in his Twitter thread the other day. Using a wallet requires a minimal amount of trust. If your hypothesis is that your wallet provider is the attacker, you're doomed. This is very true. If you don't trust the wallet provider, you shouldn't use it, period. But I'm not that concerned about Ledger per se acting maliciously. I'm concerned about the possible exploits and attacks that will follow soon. Phishing emails have been circulating since 2017, trying to dupe Ledger users to upgrading or signing transactions on fake websites, so your seed phrase or private keys would be compromised or exposed in some way, and this is only going to get worse with this new service. Maybe the KYC that will be implemented in order to activate this service will help stop potential future abuse, but then again, how can you trust that your data, your ID and other highly sensitive data will not be leaked just like it happened back in 2020? It was just names and emails back then. Now it will be much more. Users' concerns regarding privacy control and potential vulnerabilities cannot be dismissed very lightly. It's essential to carefully weigh in the trade-offs and evaluate the level of trust we place in third-party custodians. As the crypto ecosystem evolves, finding the equilibrium between user convenience and the principles of self-custody remains a critical challenge.
Ledger mishandled the situation in every way, from their haphazard communication, poor execution, lack of self-awareness to know that this wouldn't be well received.
is a disservice to those users and to the cryptocurrency industry as a whole.
So in the future, whether Ledger says they did something or didn't do something, there's no way for us to verify.
Equally, I cannot verify unequivocally that if I don't enable this feature, this optional feature, that there isn't some obscure chink in the armor that puts my funds at risk.
And I do not want to wake up one day and see all of my crypto gone, my long-term cold storage stuff.
It's almost laughable that Ledger would actually come up with a service to do this. I mean, it's like,
So with all of that in mind, what can you do about it? Well, first of all, if you are not trusting Ledger anymore, as many other people have, already stated, then you are going to migrate to another wallet. I have already reviewed all of the big crypto wallets, all of the top hardware wallets on the market. So if you want to switch to any of them, make sure that you check out my blog post. I actually dedicated a whole page on my blog to the wallets that I'm using and that I recommend to you. I have done reviews on these and also step-by-step guides, tutorials on, how to set them up, how to use them. So you can pick any of these wallets. I'm not going to tell you which one you should pick because it's really a matter of personal choice. Go through my reviews and just pick the one that appeals most to you. I personally really like Keystone because it is air-gapped. I also like OneKey because it is open source. It is very easy to use. It's got a very intuitive interface. I don't really use Trezor anymore that much. I use it as a storage, but I don't really use it for day-to-day or kind of more frequent usage. Trezor also has its problems. I will dedicate a separate video to that. They recently added a feature that many people are also unhappy about. So Trezor is also no longer your best option. But definitely check out the other reviews. I'm actually just about to post a review on OneKey Touch. This is the latest device that I just purchased and I just received it. So I did the video. I haven't edited it yet. And also I just received Tangem. This is another way to store your crypto safely. It is not a hardware wallet per se. It doesn't have a seed phrase, which is great because now there is no way to compromise that. I will show you how to use this. These are basically just cards. And I will do a tutorial on these as well. So these two tutorials are in the making and I will continue making more reviews and tutorials on hardware wallets as we go along. So you have a choice. There is plenty to choose from. You just have to really do your research right now and pick the right device for you. But also, if you trust Ledger enough, you don't really need to be migrating to another wallet. You can still use Ledger, and especially if you have the older Ledger, the Nano S. Well, this upgrade, the Ledger Recovery upgrade, is not going to work on Nano S, at least for now. So you're safe. So you don't have to worry about it. Also, if you're using Nano X and you don't want to upgrade to this firmware, then you don't have to do it at this point. Later down the line, you might be forced into upgrading at some point, but at least for now, you don't have to upgrade. You don't have to install this firmware upgrade. Therefore, you're not going to be vulnerable to any risks, if there are any risks, because at this point, we don't really know if there are any risks. We are still speculating on this, but it seems to me like there is a risk because they say that the seed phrase will be extracted from your wallet if you need that service, which means that the seed phrase, you are not providing that seed phrase to them. I was really giving them the benefit of the doubt because I was thinking if we are going to provide that seed phrase ourselves to Ledger for this service, then it's fine because it means that they can't actually forcefully extract that seed phrase from your device. But from what I'm seeing now, it seems that they will be able to extract that seed phrase with this firmware upgrade. It is an optional service. You will have to approve it, but there's always the chance that this could be done without your consent. And this is what worries me. So I'm not upgrading to this firmware. And if it comes to it and we are forced into upgrading at some point, I will probably migrate to another wallet because I don't really want to be exposed to any risk, even if it's just a minimal risk. And this is another reason why I'm using so many hardware wallets. And I told you many times in my videos that I'm using several hardware wallets because I want to leave a little bit of crypto in each of them rather than all of my crypto in one hardware wallet because anything could happen. And as we are just seeing with Ledger, really anything could happen. Things that were impossible up until a few days ago, all of a sudden become a possibility. The Ledger was claiming for the longest time that it is absolutely impossible for anyone to extract your private keys or seed phrase from your device. And now it looks like with this firmware upgrade, it is possible and it's going to be quite easy for them to do it. Are you surprised? And even in their response, they actually said that it has always been possible to write such firmware. I'm not really surprised. This is exactly what I was always suspecting, that things like that are possible, that nothing is really unhackable. And in this case, Ledger will basically have to hack into your device in order to extract that seed phrase. It will be with your consent, at least at face value. This is how it seems. It will be with your consent, but further down the line, it could be done probably without your consent. And this is my concern. So I might be moving away from Ledger later down the line, but for the moment, I will continue to use my Ledger X. It's not a device that I'm using on a daily basis anyway. It's just for safekeeping, for storing my crypto. And I will decide later on if I'm going to move all of my coins out of my ledger, or maybe the majority of my coins out of my ledger and into the other 8 devices that I'm already using. So we'll see about that. I will keep you updated. I will do a follow-up on this video. I will let you know what's happening. And of course, I urge you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet. Make sure that you hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. I'm posting 3 times a week to keep you up to date with everything that's currently happening in the crypto space. And I'm doing market analysis as well, technical analysis. I'm talking about the coins that I'm trading or investing in longer term. I'm sharing with you everything that I'm doing in my own crypto journey. This is basically my diary of my crypto journey ever since 2016. Hopefully this is helping you to navigate safely and easily in the crypto space. This is my goal. And I'm posting all of my content for free, and it will always remain free. Make sure that you're subscribed. Also, check out the links in the description below when I drop the links to all of the crypto services that I'm personally using and that I recommend to you. And while you're here, just pick another one of my videos, and I'll see you there.